Maya, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
When Zinnia does public comment and sets the timer, does she announce that the 4 minutes is over? Does she just let the sound come on her timer from the phone? I want to make sure I don't do something different.
Yeah, we actually haven't had a lot of circumstances where we've actually had to use that, but I do believe she does use her phone and just set the timer.
Okay.
Generally, we let them go on longer because, like Maya said, we haven't had that many people wanting to speak. However, if we've got 20 lined up, I'm going to ask you to pay attention to the timer pretty closely.
Yeah, it's always fair to let everybody have their time. It's 6 o'clock, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Can we wait another couple of minutes? We do not have a quorum
We
yet.
need Autumn to come back. You have
Yes.
them present. They need to turn on their video.
Thank you. Marika, Autumn. All right, we do have a quorum. All right. Good evening. Thank you for attending the Planning Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. I have a paragraph I need to read first about authorization to do Zoom meetings. In accordance with Executive Order N29-20 and guidance from the California Department of Public Health on gatherings, remote public participation is allowed. We'll address the order in the following ways. Members of the public may not physically attend meetings. The Planning Commission meeting will be live streamed on Comcast Channel 28 and on the city's website, barring technical difficulties. Those members of the public wishing to participate must do so remotely via Zoom electronic meetings in the following ways. By either logging onto the Zoom link located on the meeting agenda, please download the app to your computer or mobile device and enter the meeting ID, or by calling a listed number and enter the meeting ID. Public comment for Planning Commission meetings will be accepted via email to publiccomment@cityofsthelena.org. All public comments must be emailed by 4 p.m. prior to the meeting. Emailed public comments will not be read out loud, but will be publicly available and attached to the online Planning Commission agenda. I believe the city clerk has some more information for us. Cindy?
I'll share my screen. All right. So the public can participate for public comment if you dial 669-900-6833 at the prompt. Enter the meeting ID, which is 834-4043-0194, and press the pound. During public comment, you will be called upon and you can press *9 to address the commission. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed with Spanish interpretation. To access the interpretation, you will need to use a Zoom application from either your cell phone, tablet, or computer. Instructions on how to use the Zoom app are listed in English and Spanish on the agenda posted on the city's website. Once you join the meeting, the Zoom application, you will see a small globe at the bottom or top of the screen. Click on the globe and you will be able to access the live interpretation. Marcy and Claudia are our interpreters this evening.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Commissioner Anderson, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I will. I can find it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Cindy, will you take the roll, please?
Chair Pons?
Here.
Vice Chair Hell is absent. Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Segura is absent. Rothfeld?
Here.
Okay, thank you. We're down to public forum. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on items of interest that are not listed on the agenda. Because of restrictions imposed by the Brand Act, the commission may not engage in discussion or take action on matters not described on the agenda. Please observe the time limit of 4 minutes. Do we have anybody wishing to speak at this point?
I'm reviewing the attendees and I do not see a raised hand.
Okay, thank you. That takes us down to consent items. Members of the commission or the public may ask that any items be considered individually for purposes of considering alternative action, for extended discussion, or for public comment. Unless that is done, one motion may be used to adopt all recommended actions. We only have one item tonight, and that's the minutes of July 6th, 2021. Do any members of the commission wish to have that item pulled for further discussion? Seeing none. Does any of the member of the public seem to care to have that item pulled?
There is none.
There's not. Okay, then a motion would be in order, please. Commissioner Anderson. You are on mute, Commissioner. There.
A motion to approve the minutes.
And I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will you take the roll, please?
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Rothfeld,
Yes.
Chair Pond.
Yes. So we're down to public hearings. We have one tonight, request by Greg Desmond, representative of Fulton Lane Distillery, to grant a use permit approval to establish a small distillery operation, Fulton Lane Distillery, at an existing wine storage and distribution warehouse located at 1020 Fulton Lane in the Service Commercial Zoning District. So I will at this point open the public hearing. Director DeRosa, whose item is this tonight, please?
This is Ms. Powers, our contract planner.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, commissioners. The project in question is a use permit, file number PL 21-020. It's a request to establish a small distillation operation at 1020 Fulton Lane within the general plan and zoning districts of Service Commercial. Currently, this location is being used as a wine storage warehouse and distribution facility. And so we'll just be adding a small distillation operation that will be contained entirely inside the building. Water usage is currently at 15 to 30 gallons of water per day. That's for the restroom inside the facility. And that will remain unchanged as all of the water that will be used for distillation will be trucked in from off-site springs. You can see the layout of the warehouse here. We've got our main warehouse that will continue to be wine storage and distribution of that wine. And then the second building, which is attached, will be the area where all of the distillation will happen. So the project is proposing distillation of both whiskey and brandy. We have got a primary still and 2 secondary stills, and water holding tanks, as well as beer and wine holding tanks, and then 3 separate holding tanks for wastewater, which will then be hauled off site as needed. Deliveries to the site and from the site should not exceed about 1 to 2 deliveries per week, and an additional 1 to 2 per month for the actual distribution of the distilled whiskey and brandy once it's put into barrels. the distillation operation and warehouse has 3 dedicated parking spaces. You can see that they're numbered here at the bottom. And the building itself is not being improved in any way other than to bring in the equipment for distillation. And for more information on parking, this particular use would require 2 parking spaces overall. The multi-tenant facility there has a total of 11 parking spaces, and as stated previously, three of those parking spaces have been dedicated to the Fulton Lane Distillery operation. 1 employee will be needed for the proposed and existing operations, with the possibility of an additional 1 to 2 employees for deliveries and or barrel loading. Just to address water and wastewater in a little bit more detail, as stated previously, the site is currently only using 15 to 30 gallons of city water per day, and that will remain unchanged as all of the water for the distillation operation will be trucked in off-site. And then a 2,600 gallon tanker truck will deliver spring water approximately 1 time a week. And also will be used, another 2,600 gallon tanker truck will be used to haul away wastewater that is byproduct. I want to quickly just address one small error in the staff report, and my apologies on that. I was making some edits, and I think I may have forgotten to save. But on the first page of the staff report, it states that a total production capacity is 45,800 gallons annually. That number should actually be 52,000 gallons, 52,800 gallons annually is the actual capacity. However, the project is only proposing a little bit less than half of that. And that's specifically because they want to split the distillation evenly between brandy and whiskey. And I may have the applicant speak on this a little bit more, but as I understand it, the capacity of the distillation capacity is greater for whiskey than it is for brandy. So if they wanted to operate at full capacity, that would be 52,800 gallons annually, but they're actually proposing to only produce 22,900 gallons annually so that they can get that even split between whiskey and brandy. So I just wanted to clarify that. And that's actually all I have for the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and make the recommendation and then open up the hearing for comments or questions. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission determine that the project is exempt from the requirements of CEQA pursuant to Section 15301 for existing facilities, and accept the required findings and approve a resolution granting conditional use permit approval for the proposed brewery operation located at an existing wine storage and distribution facility at 1020 Fulton Lane.
Thank you. Is there any questions of staff? Seeing none, I would like to invite the applicant at this point to speak to the commission. Is Mr. Desmond?
Good evening. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Yes.
Great. So thank you for hearing this item tonight. Thank you to staff for helping us move this project forward. I also have a representative from the distillery, John Hardesty, who will be doing the majority of the discussion about the actual distillery and its processing. But both of us, both John Hardesty and I, are both available for questions as they may come up. So at this point, both of us can field questions from the commission and the public and staff. And again, thank you for hearing this item tonight.
All right, Mr. Hardesty, you have anything to add at the present time?
I don't, but just to echo what Greg said, thank you for hearing us. And I think you've got a great project here, and I appreciate the staff's work on this.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? No, I have a couple, just plain old curiosity. Pot stills, column stills, what kind of stills are we doing?
Pot still, yeah.
Pot stills, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Olympic style pot stills, yeah.
Alembic from Charantes from Cognac, yeah.
And I'm guessing that you can produce more brandy than whiskey because the wine starts off at a higher alcohol content than the beer.
You are a smart man. You got it.
Ex-chemist. So that's the only reason. Okay. Any more questions for the applicant or staff for that matter, curiosity based or not? No? Hearing none, then I will say this is a time for the public to comment on the project. We did receive 20 letters from the public supporting the project. So if you are public and wish to comment on the project, I would certainly keep you at the 4 minutes, because if we have 20 people wanting to talk 4 minutes apiece, that's 80 minutes. That's fine, but that's an awfully long time. Cindy, do we have any members of the public?
I need Chantel to please stop sharing her screen.
Oh, yes.
That's better.
Do we have any members of the
Alright.
public wishing to speak?
We do not.
We do not. Okay. But I shall once again remind the commissioners that we did indeed have 20 letters that were sent out to you. Several were attached to the agenda itself, but there were 4 that didn't quite make that attachment, but you got those via email just before the meeting started. So, hearing no public testimony, and I'm assuming there are indeed no more questions of staff or the applicant, I will bring it back to the commissioners by closing the public hearing. Do we have any comments from the commissioners on the project? No? Well, I will say something. I think this is a fine project. It's small, it uses the space well, it adds variety to what's available in town. I'm hoping eventually the product will be available in town. At your favorite place of libation, perhaps. In the meantime, that's my only comment on the project per se. If I see no further comment from the commissioners, then a motion would be in order. Commissioner Anderson.
Let me find it again. Where's the resolution? All right, I have my agenda just went blank. Hold on.
You can just use the staff recommendation at the end of the staff report. That
I
will
know.
cover it.
I have it highlighted, and sometimes when I highlight it, it turns to like checkered squares and I can't read what's underneath the highlighting.
Would you like me to
So-
read it for you?
I found it, sorry. I move that the Planning Commission determine that the project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15301 and accept the required findings and approve a resolution granting conditional use permit approval to the proposed distillery operation located at an existing wine storage and distribution facility at 1020 Fulton Lane.
Very good. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Rothfeld. Cindy, will you please take the vote, please?
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Rothfeld,
Yes.
Chair Pont.
Yes. Okay, we're finished with that item. That takes us down to scheduled matters. I do not see any. That takes us to item 7, department reports. Maya, do we have anything this evening?
I have 2 brief updates for you. The Hunter project, the applicant is looking to do an informational presentation to the council. We haven't locked in the date, but it's looking like it will either be August 10th or the 24th. And so you can check the council agendas, but it will just be a brief overview of what the project is, what they're proposing in advance of any future public meetings on the EIR. And of course, that whole process will come through the Planning Commission, but that's one update I wanted to leave you with. And the second one is that we've actually begun formal work on updating our inclusionary housing ordinance. We have a subcontract with Lisa Wise Consulting to do that. Last week was a great week because they had focus groups and got some great input from local stakeholders. And so they're going to be preparing some recommendations on changes to our inclusionary ordinance, and we will review that together with the City Council in a joint meeting. And it's looking like tentatively we may do that in September. So just I just don't want to catch you off guard when I said, oh, we're talking about the inclusionary ordinance and here's all the information. So that's coming up, and then that will be folded into that information will be folding it into the bigger zoning code update. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So we're down to item 8, which is agenda forecast. This is also an opportunity for the commission to request items to be placed on future agendas. Do we have any items any commissioner cares to see placed on a future agenda? Seeing none. A list of all current planning projects available on the city website. www.cityofsthelena.org. And with that, we're down to the final item of the agenda tonight, is adjournment. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you.
That was a fast meeting. Thank you, guys.